अडिटिङ बेसिक टर्म्स एन्ड टर्मिनोलोजीमा आज हामी डिस्कस गर्दैछौँ। पहिला सुरु अडिट भनेको के हो त? वाट डु मिन बाई अडिट? अडिट भनेको अडिट इज एन independent examination of financial information of any entity whether they are profit oriented or not, irrespective of their size or legal form. Legal form means whether they are proprietorship, whether they are partnership form is legal form. When such examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion thereon. Means what is audit? Audit is an independent examination of the financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form. And when such examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion thereon. Then what do you mean by the independence? Independence means judgment of the person that is not subordinate to wish of another. It's the judgment of person. Independence means judgment of person is not subordinate to the wish of another person. There may be the independence of the mind and independence in appearance. What do you mean by the FRF? Financial Reporting Framework. Financial Reporting Framework, it is the benchmark. It is the criteria. It is the set of criteria that is used to determine measurement, recognitions, presentation and disclosure of all the materials items in the financial statement. For example, we can make the NFRS, IFRS, GAAP, NAS standards. Then FRF is the set of criteria that is used to determine the measurement, recognition, presentation, disclosure of all the material item in the financial statement. What do you mean by the reasonable assurance? Reasonable assurance, it is the high but not absolute level of assurance. Then what do you mean by the misstatement? It is the differences between ACPD, amount, classification, presentation and disclosure of reported financial statement item, and ACPD, amount, classification, presentation, disclosure that is required with the applicable FRF. That means it's the differences between reported financial statement and required with applicable FRF is known as the misstatement. Misstatement can be arise from the error or fraud. It may be intentionally or unintentionally. Fraud deals with intentional misrepresentations, where error refers to unintentional mistake in the financial statement. What do you mean by material? Material means it is the misstatement, including omissions, that are considered to be material if they individually or in aggregate could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of the user, that is to be taken on the basis of the financial statement. Material means misstatement including the omissions that are considered to be material if they in aggregate or in individually could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of the user. What are the audit evidence? Audit evidence is the information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusion on which the auditor's opinion is based. Audit evidence can be looked for sufficient and appropriate. Sufficient means quantity and appropriate means quality. There should be relevance and reliability that is being influenced by nature, source and individual circumstance under which it is obtained. What are audit procedures? Audit procedures are the procedure to conduct an audit with risk assessment procedure and further audit procedure which further audit procedure comprises of test of control and substantive procedure. Substantive procedure includes test of detail and substantive analytical procedure. What is audit risk? Audit risk means the risk that the auditor gives an inappropriate audit opinion when the financial statements are materially misstated. Audit risk is the risk that the auditor gives an inappropriate audit opinion when the financial statements are materially misstated. Now we are going to discuss about the type of opinion. Two opinion: clean opinion and modified opinion. Modified opinion has three opinion: qualified, adverse and disclaimer of opinion. We have to look after the material. The information is material but not pervasive. The information is material and pervasive. When financial statements are materially misstated, but the information thereon are material but not pervasive, in this case we will give qualified opinion. But when the financial statements are material misstatement but this is material and pervasive, then adverse opinion is given. In case when there is inability to obtain the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, when there is material and not pervasive, then qualified opinion is provided. When inability to obtain the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, informations are material and pervasive, then disclaimer of opinion is given in the report. Then what do you mean by pervasive? It describes the effect of misstatement on the financial statement. It's based on the auditor's judgment. Effective pervasive when it is not confined to a specific element. If it is not confined to a specific element, the effect can be considered as the pervasive if it represents the substantial proportion of the financial statement. In relation to the disclosure, the effect can be considered as pervasive if it is fundamental to the user understanding of the financial statement. Disclose if it is fundamental to the decision making for the users. Then we discuss about the what is TCWG, those charged with governance. They are the organizations who are responsibility for overseeing the strategic directions of the entity and obligation relating to the entity. Who are the management? Management are those persons with executive responsibility for conduct of entity's operations. Then what are the preconditions of the audit? Precondition, in order to establish whether the preconditions of the audit are present when making the terms of engagement, we will discuss it later in NSA 210. The auditor shall determine whether the FRF is aptly acceptable and obtain the agreement with the management that it acknowledges and understands its responsibility for preparation of financial statement in accordance with applicable FRF for internal control, and provide the auditor with all the information such as record documents and other related matters, with additional information that the auditor may request to the management for the purpose of audit, and there is no restrictions on the access to the persons within the entity from whom the auditor determines it's necessary to obtain the audit evidence. What is internal control? Internal control is the process of DIM, design, implemented and maintained. The process designed, maintained and implemented by TCWG management and other personnel to provide the reasonable assurance with regard to reliability of the financial reporting, effectiveness and efficiency of the operations, safeguarding of the assets and compliance with laws and regulations. What are some example of internal control? Is there authorizations? Is there any segregation of the duties? Is there any approval of payments? Separation of administrative and operational work in the entities? Control. And what do we mean by the test checking? The application of audit procedure to less than 100% of the transactions. It is also known as sampling. What do you mean by judgment? The judgment means the application of relevant kit. It is application of relevant knowledge, training, and experience for the purpose of making the informed decision about the course of actions that are appropriate in the circumstances of the audit engagement. Professional judgment is essential to the proper conduct of an audit. What do you mean by the professional skepticism? It is an attitude that includes the questioning mind, being alert to the conditions which may indicate the possible misstatement due to the fraud and error, and critical assessment of the audit evidence. What are the overall objective of the audit? The overall objective of the auditor are to obtain the reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement is a whole or free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud and error, thereby enabling the auditor to express an opinion whether financial statements are prepared in accordance with all the applicable FRF, and to report and communicate as required by the NSA. Then what are the auditing process? First, there should be the terms of engagement. Second, we have to make the proper planning. Third process, which procedures, audit procedure to be obtained, risk assessment procedure, further audit procedure. Fourth step, obtaining the audit evidence. Fifth, making conclusion, and finally reporting. What are the components of audit risks? There are three: control risks, inherent risks, and detection risks. Control risks is the risks that the material misstatement will not be prevented or detected or corrected on timely basis by internal control system. Inherent risks is susceptibility of account balance and class of transactions to material misstatement, assuming there is no internal control. Detection risk, it is the risk that the auditor substantive procedure will not detect the material misstatement. What are the assertions? Assertions are the implicit or explicit claims and representations that are made by the management responsible for the preparation of the financial statement regarding appropriateness of the various elements of the financial statement and disclosures. It is the claim and statement made by the management regarding accuracy and completeness of the financial statement. These assertions are examined and tested by the auditors to ensure that there is a reliability and integrity of the financial information that are presented. These are the main terminology that are used in auditing. Now we will discuss in other videos about different ENSAs. Thank you for today.